Title: The Greatest Tragedy in History. What we lost in the Library of Alexandria. Description: journey back in time to witness the rise and fall of the most significant institution of the ancient world. The Library of Alexandria. This documentary explores the legendary repository of knowledge, speculates on the priceless texts that vanished, investigates the mysterious circumstances of its destruction, and imagines a world where it never fell. What secrets were lost in the flames, and how would our history be different if they had survived? 000. In the heart of the ancient world, there was a beacon of human knowledge, a place where the greatest minds of civilization gathered, and where the sum of all understanding was collected under one roof. This was the Library of Alexandria, but its story is not one of triumph. It's a story of loss, a mystery that haunts us to this day, and a warning about how fragile knowledge truly is. What really happened to the Library of Alexandria, and what did we lose when it vanished from the world? 100. Our story begins in the 3rd century BC, in the bustling city of Alexandria, Egypt. Founded by Alexander the Great, the city was a melting pot of cultures and ideas. It was here that Ptolemy I, one of Alexander's generals, envisioned something unprecedented: a universal library, a place to collect all the knowledge of the world. It wasn't just a building with scrolls. It was a research institution, a bon or shrine of the muses. Scholars lived and worked there, funded by the state, dedicated to study, debate, and discovery. 145. The library's ambition was breathtaking. Agents were sent across the known world to acquire texts. Ships docking in Alexandria's harbor were searched, and any books found were seized. And then the copies were returned to their owners, with the originals kept for the library. It's estimated that at its peak, the library held between 40,000 and 400,000 papyrus scrolls. Imagine the hundreds of thousands of unique works, each a window into the ancient mind. 230 inside these scrolls were treasures beyond imagination. We know it housed the foundational works of Greek tragedy, comedy, and philosophy. But what about the lost texts? Historians believe it contained comprehensive histories of ancient civilizations like Babylon and Egypt. Written by their own people, we might have had complete accounts of the Etruscans, the Minoans, and other cultures that are now just whispers in history. Think of lost epics that could rival Homer's Iliad, forgotten philosophical treatises, and detailed maps of the ancient world. 324. The scientific loss is perhaps the most staggering. Aristarchus of Samos, a scholar who worked in Alexandria, proposed a heliocentric model of the solar system that the Earth revolves around the Sun nearly 2,000 years before Copernicus. His original work is lost. All we have are second-hand references. Hieron of Alexandria created a primitive steam engine, a vending machine, and automated doors. How much more forgotten technology was detailed in scrolls that are now gone? Eratosthenes, the head librarian, calculated the circumference of the Earth with astonishing accuracy. The library was a hub of engineering, astronomy, mathematics, and medicine, centuries ahead of its time. Las Quattrocento. So, what happened? How could such a monumental institution disappear? The popular story, often depicted in movies, is of a single catastrophic fire, a dramatic blaze that consumed everything in one tragic night. But the truth is far more complicated, and, in many ways, more tragic. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria wasn't a single event. It was a slow, painful decline over centuries. 515, the first major blow, came in 48 BC. Zulu's Caesar, entangled in an Egyptian civil war, set fire to his own ships in the harbor to block an enemy fleet. The fire spread, and according to some accounts, it destroyed a warehouse containing scrolls destined for the library, or possibly a part of the library itself. This was a significant loss, but it wasn't the end. The library survived, though wounded. 6 o'clock. Over the next few centuries, the library faced a death by 1,000 cuts. Political instability, budget cuts, and purges of intellectuals took their toll. In the 3rd century AD, the Emperor Aurelian, while quelling a revolt in Alexandria, destroyed the Brachyan Quarter, the district where the main library was located. This was likely a devastating blow from which the main institution never recovered. 645. A smaller daughter library existed at the Serapeum Temple. This repository of knowledge continued for a time, But in 391 AD, as the Roman Empire became increasingly Christian, Emperor Theodosius issued a decree outlawing pagan practices. A Christian mob, led by the Patriarch of Alexandria, destroyed the While it's debated how many scrolls were still there, this act represented the final, symbolic destruction of Alexandria's intellectual heritage. It was a shift from an era of inquiry to an era of dogma. 738, so it wasn't one fire, but a series of destructive events compounded by centuries of neglect and ideological conflict. The real tragedy is that no single person is to blame. It was a slow societal decay, a gradual loss of appreciation for what the library represented. 8. 10. This leads us to the most tantalizing question of all. How would history be different if the library had survived? If Aristarchus's heliocentric model had become accepted fact in the ancient world, would we have reached for the stars 1,000 years sooner? If Huron's engineering marvels had been developed, could the Industrial Revolution have happened in the Roman Empire? Think of the medical knowledge. We might have understood anatomy, disease, and sanitation centuries earlier, potentially saving millions of lives from plagues. The Dark Ages might never have been so dark. The Renaissance could have begun in the 5th century instead of the 5th-10th. 915, we can never know for sure what was lost. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria isn't just a story about burned scrolls. It's a profound lesson. It teaches us that knowledge is not guaranteed. It must be protected, cherished, and passed on. In our modern digital age, where information is more accessible than ever, we face new challenges: misinformation, the Hitaldikai, and the temptation to silence ideas we disagree with. The ghost of Alexandria reminds us that civilization is a fragile flame, and it's our duty to keep it from flickering out. The library's gone, but its legacy is a call to action for all of us. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the past meaningful, please like this video and subscribe for more stories from history.